it is such an honor to be here tonight celebrating your incredible career and work on J. Kelly. Talk a little bit about working on J. Kelly and what that was like for you.
I loved working on J. Kelly. Noah was an incredible partner. First film we've worked on together. I'd been a fan of Noah's movies for years and years, and he reached out to me about 2.5 years ago. And, from the early conversations, what was cool is it felt like he had a very clear vision for what he wanted for the score, and he wanted it to have a voice in the movie. He wanted it to be really a part of the fabric of what the movie felt like, and I loved the whole process of it. I went to set. Noah invited me to set, and so I went to Tuscany, which was fantastic. Every movie should shoot in Tuscany, I would say. And what was great, was playing the music. I actually had written a few themes, and I came to set and played the music. And playing the music for the actors, with everyone together, was really special. And I now really feel very strongly that there's this extra something you absorb when you go to set. Even though composers were often the post-production part of things, but there's an element of you just feeling the air in the space, this well. It's there's a intangible kind of quality to that I think was really special, and I loved getting to do that. And actually, because I went, there's a sort of culminating scene in the movie, and I was there for that scene, and Noah was like, I think, do you want to be in this scene? So I was like, okay. So I ended up sitting in the scene, and I don't want to give anything away in the scene, but I'm actually in the sort of final scene in the movie, which was very fun. So this is sort of my acting debut as well as my which is my acting debut.
You're in Winning Time.
Well, that's a cameo. Yes, this is a cameo. I'm disguised in Winning Time, though. I'm not disguised.
All right, I need to pay closer attention and rewatch it again. I need to rewatch it again.
This is my silver screen debut.
Barry, you and Nick go way back. You've got this incredible history as collaborators. What is it about you, about Nick, that makes you okay, I'm working my next movie. I need to call this man and have him work on my scores?
I just love how open he is, to exploring. We come from very different backgrounds, and yet that's never been a barrier to the things we create together. I just we get to a place emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and we're just rooting around in the dark trying to find the light. And it's always been this really beautiful thing that I look forward to in the movies that we do together. I really do. I typically don't love post-production, but as I've worked with Joy and worked with Nick over the years, I just love it more and more.
So, you've got a couple of movies in the works. Are you calling Nick and being like, maybe?
It's interesting. Nick, Nick did come to set for Underground Railroad very briefly.
There was on-camera music.
But you did not play.
But I didn't play any of the music. I've been to set before, I will say that.
Nick
but
was always super early in the process of the things, especially that I write. And so this process that we're doing right now is no different.
I love that. How would you describe your shorthand?
That we have? Yeah. It's interesting. I think what I've loved about our process through the years is that there's always this first kind of kernel of a feeling of something that Barry will say, here's a starting point. We don't know where we're going. We never know where we're going. But there's that first kind of something. And it's different every time. But just that you have this.
It's different every time. But what I will say is, and this is a thing that, I don't know, I haven't worked with many composers, Nick always invites me into the room, into the space, into the room, into the process. And I'll be sitting there, and Nick is exploring. And if I hear something and I go, what's that?
Yeah.
Nick is always like, well, let me strip everything away and show you what that is. And that's how we get in this process of figuring out where the score wants to take us.
Where it's going to go, where the music even goes. And I think there's that element, too, one of the greatest joys of the process, which I've definitely had this experience with Barry, where there's that moment where you have no idea what's exactly going to happen, and then something happens, and then you're like, oh, and and then Barry will be like, keep going. Keep going.
That's definitely the only direction.
No, it's a good direction because then there's a moment, I think we both know, but there's a moment where you're like, this is something. something. We don't know what yet, but it's something. So you start getting.
Oh my God. I love it. It is such an honor to celebrate you tonight, Nick. And thank you so much for being here tonight, Barry. Celebrate.
Thank you both.
I am here
Thank you
celebrating him as
both.
well.